Yeah, I don't know, man. You ever just feel like life is just catapulting towards some greater purpose?
Pampered fat cats with bloated ego. We are the only DJ crazy enough to tattoo Jackie Brown on his ass.
This is Michael Mann, and I ride with
Extended Clip.
Welcome to Extended Clip. It is episode 229. I am one of your hosts, Eddie Averill.
I'm Todd McShay, your number one draft expert.
I'm JT White.
I'm going old school. I'm Mel Kiper.
Yeah, that's a better name. I just pulled the first one I could think of.
So he's a junior. So there's a Mel Kiper senior that was like scouting John Wayne at USC.
That's kind of like what we're doing today.
Exactly. How do you get from Todd McShay to Rio Grande or The Searchers? Well, you get it through this very special episode of Extended Clip, testing the boundaries of spectrum-based cinephilia today. We are creating an alternate reality, a la Dungeons and Dragons, a la fantasy football, a la the fantasy draft in your franchise mode in Madden 2K, MLB The Show, etc. We are doing the first ever Extended Clip alternate reality expansion draft. This is a concept I've been thinking about for a long time. The three of us are essentially going to be studio heads in this alternate reality, this new form of reality where time no longer exists. And the past 100 years of cinephilia, much like it is truly in the digital age of home viewing, the last 100 plus years of cinephilia is all right in front of us at the same time. So we are drafting film studios. We're going to have minimum positional requirements. We're going to include, 4 directors, 3 actors minimum, a writer, a composer, a cinematographer, and some flex positions, as fantasy sports players will know. And so the aim of this is to kind of, movies have gotten so bad that we always say, well, I could do better than that. And it's not that I could be a better director than a lot of these guys, because I'm not a director, but I know what good movies are. So if I ran a studio, I feel like I would make not just profitable movies, but like the best movies in Hollywood. And I think the three of us are all kind of on that same wavelength, especially if we had access to alternate realities and time machines like we do on this episode today.
I'm coming in to the film studio draft pumped. Like this is the most high energy I think I've been for a concept in a while. Brilliant idea. Thank you for bringing this to the table. And I don't know. I think we joke around a lot.
Sure.
Some would say too much. Sure. We're not serious enough here.
Well, I wouldn't go that far.
I think finally, perhaps our strategic minds will really come to the forefront. I think not only, it's fun. We get to play. There's camaraderie here, but we're pitting the movie brain force that we have against each other to figure out who would have the best studio. Like old Hollywood, was it the big 3 studios? Like this is now it's the big us. 3. Yeah, now it is the big 3. Yeah, because we're so good that we're like, you could combine multiple of them. First things first, Malcolm.
Yes.
Are you ready to give us the name of your studio?
Yeah, I'm excited for this draft. We're finally getting an ode to Bill Simmons. This podcast started out a little bit more Armand White. And we realized we needed to chill out, go a little bit more mainstream, a little bit more Bill Simmons, and, kind of a convergence of our interest in sports, mix it with movies. And we're really looking for that FanDuel sponsorship, DraftKings, any of these. We want to get into selling gambling. So I think this could be a perfect gateway into that.
If Barstool would like to redistribute this podcast on their page, more than willing to let you do that. You don't even have to ask.
I've asked so many times that I didn't have the dignity to ask again. So thank you, Eddie. but I'll start it off with the team names. As a lot of, Tarantino named his studio after like Godard, like Band Apart, a Godard movie. I, as a fan of movies myself, I am also opening the cinematic history book. And my studio name is called the Double E Foundation. And to explain what that means, it's a referring to the iconic short film Electrocuting an Elephant, made by Edwin S. Porter. And I think this movie is vastly underrated. And mainly just for the idea of it. You know what I mean? They're like, why don't we get like a huge animal, all high and mighty, these high and mighty snooty elephants, and, why don't we electrocute it? And it's still pretty, shocking to see to this day. I think most people would watch that and they'd be upset for the elephant. And I'm not going to say I wasn't either, but I like the ingenuity and the daringness, and Thomas Edison, he was one of the great entrepreneurs in history. So the Double E Foundation.
Interesting. PETA is not going to like that, but who is going to like that? Me. I actually think that's pretty awesome. I think that's fantastic. For visual viewers here, we do have a still from Electrocuting the Elephant here. All right. JT, we are so glad to have you as a general manager living in Philadelphia. I know you have really taken a lot of influence from Daryl Morey. And Daryl Morey's style of building a team is really going to reflect on your drafting style. So what is your team name?
I kind of went the classic route. There is, I don't know, like Warner Brothers. Like it's
I know Warner Brothers.
The Warner Brothers that they own it. They own it. And so I'm going with Crazy White Boy Films.
Okay.
And it doesn't really have much to do with the ethos of my company.
Okay.
There's nothing. It's purely my last name. This is not the film company is not racially motivated in any way. If anything, we were racially motivated to produce diverse films because that's very lucrative at the moment. I don't know. You'll see. I don't know. Kind of what we're about. As the draft process goes on, and I think you'll be able to see what some of the heads here at Crazy White Boy Films are thinking about. But another fun little detail about our company, the production company logo is this silhouette of a man who appears to be Big Country Bryant Reeves doing a dunk. It's just the silhouette. It's like kind of like the Jordan logo, but it's a silhouette of a big white guy doing a dunk that smashes shatters the backboard, and then the shattered glass spells out Crazy White Boy Films.
I like that a lot, actually. That is quite good. And for the visual viewers on this one, as this is, of course, a visual podcast, this episode, as well as an audio podcast, but I think the best, because I love podcasts. The medium is always going to be audio only to me. But if people want video, they got video this time around. And for mine, I am going to... what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to discombobulate what people think movies even are, but at the same time, I'm trying to bring back the tradition of arts in the public and people really loving art again for art's sake. And that's why my production company is called Picasso Pictures. So, it's all about just
classy,
having a big nose and putting it on your ears. And, sometimes you have your chin is also your arms, and a picture of a guitar is actually a bunch of blocks. So that's kind of the ethos of my company. We're just really flipping movies on their heads, but at the same time, the art is just undeniable. So let's get into the lottery. Are you guys ready to spin the wheel? Malcolm, do you have a draft selector for us ready to go?
So I have a wheel here. It's 1, 2, 3, and I guess I'm not. Is there a way I could show it? I guess I don't have to show it. This is audio.
Yeah.
I'll take you for your word that you're not. The integrity of the draft is too much at stake here. I have complete faith in you.
I wouldn't do anything like that. So without further ado, let's get the first spin going. The first pick in the draft is rewarded to Eddie Avil.
Woo!
So congrats to you.
So Picasso Pictures will be drafting number 1.
And the last spin to determine 2 or 3. Kind of interesting. You might want 3 more than 2 in this draft, considering it's a snake draft. So let's see what happens here.
The anticipation is killing all of our audio-only listeners.
Sorry, I'm just so caught up.
And the second pick in the draft is awarded to J.T. White, Crazy White Boy Films, meaning I will be picking 3rd.
All right, so let's get right into it, dude. For the very first pick in the draft, my very first pick in the wow, this is so crazy because there's so many people on the board. LeBron James is on the board, John Ford is on the board, Kobe Bryant is on the board, Jesus Christ himself is on the board, but I am going to go with the little tramp himself, Charles Chaplin. Charles Chaplin, I mean, what can you say about him? He's the GOAT. He is, I think, the greatest two-tool player of all time if you're talking about director, actors. He's probably the most individualist filmmaker of America for the first 50 years of its cinema. He's someone who even got in on the ground floor of scoring his own films, He's such a, maverick of everything, every aspect of filmmaking, that I just want him on the ground floor. I mean, there's a reason he was one of the 4 people who started United Artists. So Charlie Chaplin, get on up here and put on your big stupid hat.
Out of everyone you could have ever chose, Chaplin, I think that's a good pick. I was kind of expecting it, but I think it's monumental. He's the number 1 pick.
Yeah, great selection. Again, no surprises coming from you, Eddie. But I don't know. It makes sense. I'm curious how the rest of the roster is going to fill out around him.
Exactly. He's someone that you don't really have to build around him. He's someone that is a very a portable player, as it were. But now it is time for the second pick of the draft. JT, who are you going with?
My first pick is going to be many people's favorite, Big Jim Cameron. We're going with Cameron. Kind of the mindset here at Crazy White Boy Films is that Cameron's a moneymaker. We know this. It's proven. He has like some of the highest grossing pictures of all time, and cards on the table here. This is we're a movie studio. We're about making money. We're here to I don't know, make a picture, make something people like. But at the end of the day, it's a business. We're going to run it as such. So I think James Cameron is a smart choice there for raking in the cash.
JT just walked up to the whiteboard that said Crazy White Boy and wrote an S at the end of it and put a $sign through it. Crazy White Boys.
Cameron, I was wondering where Cameron would fall on the board because he makes $1 billion, movies, right? So the money factor is there. And plus I think we all like him too. So I was wondering if maybe I could kind of sneak him in, but JT got him.
I gotta be honest, it's a reach. You didn't need to go that high for Cameron, but that's my that's my early draft analysis. But maybe I'm biased because, frankly, he wasn't even on my board. So we'll see.
He was on my mind, so don't feel bad.
No, we're like each studio has its own unique flavor to it.
Yeah.
Seems like Eddie's a little bit more artsy A24 kind of a style, like man. Some of us are in it for other reasons. That's okay. That's just we all play the game differently. It's just I respect you both regardless.
Well, I'm excited about having picks 3 and 4. I think this is going to be a huge grab for me. I'm just predicting it right now. I'm going to just say them back to back. I'm just going to, present them to you. And I think you guys, these are some big hitters. For my 3rd overall pick, I'll take Orson Welles. And for my 4th overall pick, I'll take Clint Eastwood.
Holy shit. You had
wow.
2 guys on the top 5 of my draft board.
I mean, they're very versatile guys. Both can direct and act. Both, Orson Welles, he has an artistic side, but he's made classic films. I mean, Citizen Kane. You got to think that the Blu-ray sales on that would be pretty good. It being the most watched black and white film ever. But it's really their versatility. And, Eastwood is, he makes mainstream movies, but quality movies, and his acting is par none. I mean, I think the value is obvious. I don't need to sing these guys' praises.
Hey, we just spent a whole hour giving Eastwood his flowers last time, and we've done it plenty with Orson. The thing is, the versatility with Orson, man, like, he can come in and just, like, recut a movie for you, too. Like, he's, like, one of the most gifted editors in film history. And also, you can throw him fucking $50,000 to make a movie. I think in terms of your own economy of your studio, Wells, that's maybe the best overall value pick. The draft is now back to JT for the 2nd round. Pick number 5. Who do you got?
We got a little bit of a change up for you, but he's a young guy. He's more in the new media realm. Like, I think, honestly, he's a powerhouse. He's bringing a lot to the table. And frankly, I don't even think he's on your guys' radar. I am going with Jimmy Donaldson, a.k.a. Mr. Beast. This man has, he is the most subscribed individual YouTube user. He is a philanthropist. He is in his videos. He makes his videos. That's versatility. And he's coming up with so many different ideas. I'm thinking we get Jimmy in there. To be honest, I'm not even exactly sure the role he plays yet, but I think he's young, he's hungry for it. We get him in there. We get him in the room with Jim. What they're cooking up is crazy.
That's an early positionless flex pick. I like that.
I was thinking
he could be an actor too.
In my planning here, I have him as development.
Yes, okay.
He fills the development role. Again, it's about cash, baby. We have a saying here around the office that's this could always be the first $1 trillion movie, and we kind of bring that mindset into everything we cook up.
It's an interesting pick. I'm gonna have to be honest. He was not on my big board. I wasn't considering him, but that's why, you have your studio. I got mine. My one concern, I think he's someone you could have got late round. But I admire. This is kind of like you putting your faith in him, kind of backing him with all your might. Because the one thing I'm concerned about, we haven't seen him on the big screen. We haven't seen any of his work on the big screen. This guy could be a pure YouTuber through and through. And
true, but think about it right now. Yeah. If this exercise took place in the NBA, someone's taking Wemby top 4, right?
Absolutely.
And he's never played a game of basketball in the NBA. Frankly, that means he's never played a game of fucking basketball.
True. So
I respect the reach. I respect the reach because there is just it's a world that we don't know. YouTube is like French basketball. I don't know what it is, but if he's the best, it might fucking translate in a huge way. I have the 6th and 7th picks of the draft for my 2nd and 3rd picks. I went with a very classic man the first time, and you know what? I'm going to go with another classic one right here. This guy, I cannot believe that John Ford slipped to the end of round 2 in our draft. As a pure filmmaker, it doesn't get much better than that. You can get, like, I'm going to bring back the Western. The Western will exist again. I'm John Ford and I direct Westerns is a phrase that he wouldn't say if he didn't fucking mean it. And I'm just going to get under his skin. I'm going to like be a little stinker to him. I'm going to like accuse him of some like down low stuff, like some stuff that he really wouldn't like, so that he can just really fucking prove me wrong and bring the Western back. My next one is probably going to be, I don't know, that, like, now I have 2 classic directors in my stable, right? I have John Ford, I have Charlie Chaplin, and like these are guys that just, I don't know, it's a very classicism driven draft for me so far. So it's time for me to zag at the start of round 3. And my next pick is easily my greatest physical specimen. He's 7'3", probably about 350 pounds. At this point, the body fat isn't quite what we want it to be. In the 90s, it was much better. I'm going Shaquille O'Neal with my next pick. I think Shaq is just like one of the most dynamite fucking TV personalities of all time. He's great in the Adam Sandler movies. And also, like, look, if Charlie Chaplin and John Ford are walking around Hollywood these days, they need protection. They need someone who's going to make them feel safe. They've never seen a man over 7 foot in their lives. But when they see Shaq, they're going to know that they not only have a great start with potential to unlock on the big screen, they also have physical safety. And also, he'll contribute to a soundtrack here and there, but I'm really looking at him as like a press guy for the studio. Like, he's going to be getting the word out about all these movies. He's going to be doing TV talk shows where he's like talking to Chaplin about his first film in 100 years. He's be like, hey Charlie, so you talking in this one? You talking in this one? You talking in this one, Chuck? And it's going to be great, and everyone's going to love it. So that is my 7th pick in the draft, Shaq. Now it is back to JT for his 3rd pick.
3rd pick here. We're going with, again, I zagged pretty hard with Mr. Beast. I know that's and again, I think I have a lot of surprises in store for you guys. But again, like, we're about making money, but it's a movies first studio. We're getting in a lot of young guys that are like, they're money men. They know that they know how to get eyes on the screen. But we need someone who's a little rooted in kind of in classic movies, but also has that big money flair. And so the first like true blue acting talent I'm getting is Tom Cruise.
Oh yeah.
I think Jimmy's going to be able to cook up some good stunts for him. Tom's always game.
I think the already you're cooking with something with the Tom Cruise James Cameron movie for leading the pack for our movies that we're going to be making here at the end of the episode. That is an absolutely stellar thing. But how do you feel about the Scientology stuff? Do you think you're going to be able to work with them?
I think so. I mean, it's something. We got a lot of power players here. We have a lot of big, wealthy men that are coming on board. I'm going to have to. We have a blind eye to some things here, and that's okay. It's like, to be honest, Crazy White Boy Films, a little bit of a boys' club, but I don't know. Well, I think again, I don't. What you do outside of the studio, entirely your business. I don't really care. Off-court antics, that's fine. Like, just so long as you show up for I don't want to say practice, but so long you show up at the studio.
I mean, rehearsals,
practice. Call time. Yeah, rehearsals, practice. Yeah, I don't know. You're so long as you put in the work, you're good with me.
We talking about rehearsal? Malcolm, the 9th and 10th picks of the draft.
I mean, I admire your guys' approach, especially yours, JT. It's kind of a new age, new wave, thinking outside the box. But my one concern is, who actually likes movies? It's unfortunately, despite our efforts, it's not quite the younger generation. And I know that's an untapped market, you know what I mean? But I'm appealing to classic value, family values, kind of some Sound of Freedom type shit. And not really. So I want someone who's the epitome of consistency. Someone, and both of these picks are, people I know that are always going to give me their best. Much like Wells and Eastwood, I think these are very consistent people that I could rely on, and just on the basis of themselves, they could carry me far. So for number 9, I'm going Alfred Hitchcock. And number 10, I'm going Al Pacino.
Very, very classic choices there. Again, I can see you're hardcore respecting the tradition of film. I get, like, you have the TCM audience. I mean, also Eddie too. Like, you're fighting there. You can get those folks locked in seats.
Pacino was pretty high on my board, I gotta say. I kind of slipped on Hitchcock. That's a slip for me, because that's putting butts in the seats, and it's suspense. Yeah. It's something that'll never die.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of my idea. Hitchcock's. That's the thing. It's like for old directors, right? Who are the old directors people? I mean, we love John Ford, but I mean, I think Hitchcock translates best maybe to the modern day, or at least seems to.
I would say Billy Wilder.
Billy Wilder too, but
he's not one of our favorites.
Yeah, I guess that's true. But also, I think Wilder. But I think people might be watching a Billy Wilder movie and not know too much about Wilder. I think that could be more of a possibility, where it's people know Hitchcock. They know Hitchcock by name. They know his style. Yeah.
He was one of the first brand name auteurs.
Very reliable. I guess one thing that I didn't consider, he does have a history of studio hijinks. Maybe going over budget, so I might have to keep a close eye on him. But
you might want to also keep a close eye on the female stars of your studio. But I don't see any women getting drafted anytime soon.
Oh, we'll be drafting some women.
Yeah. That's what they all say. 5th round, realize, oh shit. Just panic and fucking take Isabella Johnny in the 4th. Like,
Celine Sciamma.
Oh, fucking yeah, that's JT reaching for Sciamma in the 5th.
I would never. Look, we're about making money here. Show me. Let's pull up the receipts for Petite Maman. Let's see how many.
I tell you, 3 people who sat through that, us, and thank God we didn't have to fucking pay for it. Thank you, Berlin, for accrediting us. JT, you got the next pick in the draft.
You don't get a lot of my personality and preference for movies in our studio. Again, I'm trying to keep emotions out of it, trying to keep my heart. What I really want to see on screen isn't exactly what the layman wants, and I get that. But this pick is a lot of personality, a lot of love here, and I'm super excited we're getting him. I feel like this is one of my picks that might have been on the other radars, but we're bringing SRK. Shah Rukh Khan. We're getting the Tom Cruise Shah Rukh Khan collab.
Wow.
That's it's coming together.
Wow. That is powerful, because now you just got like literally the 2 biggest stars in the world. Like, Shah Rukh Khan's probably the biggest movie star in the world everywhere except America, and then Tom Cruise is the biggest movie star in America. It truly doesn't get any bigger than that. JT is dreaming big. He's reaching for the stars. And we'll see what happens. Sometimes it's not just star power. Sometimes, you get into, what are you going to make? The Avengers? We'll see about it.
SRK was on my board, and originally when you were talking about your alternative plan, I thought that you were just going to draft a full Bollywood studio. That's what I thought your original plan was. So I was thinking about taking SRK early to maybe spoil you, but that's one I really wanted.
That would be a great podcast. JT naming Indian guys for an hour.
Well, I mean, globalism is hot. Like
It's
we're
true. I
looking
just watched
to get-
Past Lives. That was a globalist success,
I want like a four quadrant picture. I want something that the grandma, the kids,
Little
like
Billy.
college age. I don't know. And we want something for everyone. So we're trying to get like Indians, Chinese, whites. We're trying to get all of them in the seats.
Hey, that's how you got to do it, even if you got to segregate your audience a little bit. But I think you're going to mesh them together. I think
We're trying to bring them together.
Yeah, I think the globalist dream is going to finally come true at crazy white boy films. For my next pick, I am going to pick someone very special, near and dear to my heart. I am going to pick Lucio Fulci for my next pick. Now, you might think that he's a reach here, but this is my strategy here. I am going back to the old mode of like the genre factory, right? Like, it's going to be like an assembly line with the genre movies. And every single action, crime, horror, anything that has any sort of action whatsoever, all of the gore will go through Lucio Fulci. There will be no gore that Fulci does not see. So if any movie has anything with like a character getting poked even, it's going to be like the eyeball stuff from The Beyond. It's going to be like people getting limbs chopped off in all his movies, It's going to be like the zombie shark fight in Zombie 2, if anyone ever goes underwater in any movie at my studio. So Lucio Fulci is my 12th pick. And for the number 13 pick, I'm going to grab the first composer. Now, the composer position here it's kind of like kickers and like tight ends, where it's like there's like two good ones in the league. Obviously, there's a billion great composers, but there's the few that everyone wants, So I'm going with Ennio Morricone. The dude, like any single fucking score he made, he elevated that movie so much. You watch any mid-Italian Western from the 60s that has one of his scores, you're just going to have a rip-roaring time because he is the greatest film composer of all time. And he is going to compose all of the music for every movie at my studio.
Yeah, going in, I imagined Morricone was going to be first composer, picked off the board. I have to be honest, I wrote him down, but I was kind of in my head like, I think I'm going to let someone else take Morricone, because I have no idea where he might end up on the board. It could be very high. And to be honest, this might be a little bit high, but I think Morricone's value is it's so useful. I think he can make bad movies good. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
I think Morricone's a good value pick here, even if some people criticize the strategy of taking composers early. I think you got to have a good composer on the team.
Absolutely. It's not like a defense special teams kind of thing, like it's very important. People underrate how important music is. I remember when I was in film school, one of my teachers showed us like a clip with and without score from, I think Soderbergh's Traffic or something like that. And everyone was like, wow, it's so much worse without the score. And I was like, well, that's kind of a bad example, I guess, but it is pretty clear how much music has to do with the cinema. So Ennio Morricone is my pick. Now, next is going to be JT again.
I'm throwing the first woman up on the board, and I think you can guess who it's going to be, given my picks. It's Greta Gerwig. She has. I see you just put woman there, but yeah, no, Greta. She's doing great. She's Barbie movies is raking it in, and I mean, I might disagree with her about that film. I may not like it all that much, but like. She knows what people like. She's making money. She's a triple threat. She like acts, she directs, she writes. Like I gotta say, for looking for, again, some people in the league might like say this is clear diversity pick. Like we haven't like there's no woman here, woman this, like blah 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 blah. Like, but I think she's high value to me. Like that's why she's getting picked so early. That's why she's coming on. I think again, and she she respects some classical values too. She's gonna make. I don't know. I think she is gonna really be able to pull something together here with us. Yeah.
Sold me on the pick, GT, because, you know, honestly, whatever. I'm not even going to say what I thought before. But Gerwig, you're right. That's a triple threat. That's someone who could act, direct, and write. And that's, I don't know. If you see my board so far, you see that I value position flexibility. So I think Greta Van Gerwig, as Eddie has written, might be a sleeper pick. You know, I think there's some intelligence there in that pick.
Oh, there's some intelligence in her, all right.
Okay. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. But,
Malcolm's on the clock.
You know, I have to be honest. The way I view it, this is a director's league, and you know we've been picking a lot of directors early, except for JT. JT's gone a little alternate direction, but me, I'm gonna get my directors early. You know, I just had a realization, and I'm switching it up mid-pick. I realize I cannot pick who I was about to say. Let me take a lady as well.
Is it because you can't pronounce the name?
No, it's because given the roster I already have, I feel like it would be a redundant pick. And I'll reveal it afterwards. I don't want to even say certain names because you guys might not even think of them.
Wow.
But Lauren Bacall. I'll take Lauren Bacall.
Great pick.
Nice.
Powerhouse actress. You know, anytime she's on screen, you know, your eyes are. You have to watch it. It's not a question of whether you want to or not. It's just pure magnetism there. And then.
Do you have things written down on note cards, by the way, or is that post-it notes?
I've written notes. I didn't because for the video feed, if I'm like clicking around on my computer, I don't know. I think it's better to have notes. So I got these physical notes. And,
okay, no judgment, man. I just
no
want a
judgment.
clarification.
No judgment.
I mean, I don't want you guys hacking into my shit and stealing my draft strategy. You know what I mean? That's a possibility. So we keep everything on paper around here. Then you know what? Late minute substitution. You know what? I'm going to indulge a little bit. Give me Jean-Luc Godard.
Wow.
Give me Jean-Luc Godard.
Nice.
Now, this is one that I was totally unsure where he would go in the draft. He could have been a top 5 pick, and he could have gone undrafted.
Yeah, my idea behind the thing, Godard, you know, not exactly a moneymaker, but he's got his 60s films that are, you know, there's some Tumblr cachet, there's some money to be made there. But to be honest, I know we're trying to make money, but if I were a film studio, Godard's someone I want to keep working. I want to give Godard as much money as he needs, and you know, we all kind of have, every studio kind of has the one director that they're willing to go into the loss for, go into the gray, and maybe that's not how you guys want to run your studio, but I'm giving Godard unlimited funds. Yeah, love the guy.
I mean, that's a bold
sake.
choice.
Love it.
Again, kind of, it's poison to my organization, but like again, we're in the same league, but we're running different studios. I respect the choice. Again, you gotta keep a tight grip on that one. I mean, admittedly, like I don't know, sometimes may not play as well with others. Like, but I mean, maybe if you have a loose grip, like give him some breathing room, you might maybe get the best work from there. I mean, I don't know. It's going to be...
I respect Jean-Luc Godard way too much to make him work for a Jewish studio head like myself. He would hate that. He would hate that.
Probably run into all the same problems he had throughout his career, you know.
Oui.
But Godard, you know, JT, I agree with you, but kind of like thinking big brain, thinking like outside of the universe. Get Jim Cameron, Tom Cruise, Mr. Beast, Godard in a room. See what they make. That might be the new cinema. So that
is crazy. Yeah.
I do have to say, you know, Godard. I know he's a socialist, or he's a democratic socialist. I believe that was his political leanings. But
yeah, if I recall correctly, Godard said that Bernie may have been a little too far to the left, but he enjoyed free health care.
Sometimes you got to take the radicals what they're peddling, and you got to turn around and sell it. And sometimes that's what the biggest. Sometimes that's the biggest gross. So that's my idea behind the pick.
All right, JT, the 17th pick of the draft. It's all you.
Yeah, for the 17th pick of the draft, again, I would say this is, and I mean, Gerwig has some flexibility, and I've also been looking. I mean, I have some guys that like kind of stick to their lane, are like good at like are great at like one position, but again, you want flexibility here. Especially because it's just, you're like 12 folks. You're building a tight studio. Things got to run like a well-oiled machine. And again, I'm going for the global angle. I want I want to make movies that wherever you go, people love them. And so I'm picking Wu Jing. He was in the Meg 2 as since it was a Chinese American co-production. Wu Jing, also you may know him as he's a actor, director, and martial artist. You have a lot of flexibility there in terms of roles that he can fill out. I think we're going to make a lot of action pictures here. Having a martial artist on the team would certainly help. And also Forbes China celebrity list. He ranks number 1 in 2019. He directed one of the highest grossing Chinese films, Wolf Warrior 2. Again, we're trying to get a little bit of everything, something for everyone, but high value money making players. We're here to have a good time. There's a lot of boys' room antics at our studio. We have fun. No one's never going to accuse me of being a tight ass. We love to have fun, but we're just we want to keep it going. Keep it going.
I am so glad that you went with Wu Jing because I was very worried that you were going to take my next pick. Fucking Jackie Chan, dude. My next 2 picks are both going to be ambassadors to our father nation of China. It's going to be Jackie Chan and Jia Zhengke. One of the great art house directors of all time, who I think will literally be a great liaison for the studio, in addition to Jackie Chan, to the CCP. And I think that this is my biggest money-making machine of any of my picks, because what is the biggest market? The Chinese market, of course. Who's the biggest Chinese star of all time? Mr. Chan. Who is the greatest Chinese director of all time? Jia Zhengke. So, well, that's up for debate, but he's my favorite. So I think that the team of Jackie Chan and Jia Zhengke, we're going to have some austere art house movies. We're going to have some documentaries that are made on the low. We're also going to have some rip-roaring action comedies. Dude, fucking Jackie Chan and Shaq together? Come on. It's going to be the best movie ever. And then
Chan.
Can you imagine fucking, Jackie Chan delivering a punch and then the gore effect on a close-up reaction is done by like someone who worked on Lucio Fulci's gore movies? It would be the greatest thing in cinema history. And I would have great relations with the Chinese, which is obviously more important every day when you're trying to make money in cinema.
Jia Zhengke is an interesting pick. Someone that I thought about adding to my board, but I thought, just there wasn't enough room for him. But it's good to see that you value him. Maybe I could get one of my guys that I thought was going to get taken. But definitely someone I would have wanted on my team. But I was maybe saving him for drafts onwards. So you got him. You got him here.
Yeah, I think a lot of people undervalue the Chinese in this draft. It's you're going to get a lot of good value there. JT, what is your next pick?
After some consideration, I think we're going to go with Robert McKee. Again, like we're building a crazy roster here about like traditional big money making pictures. I think that like we're not making some frou-frou art house bullshit. No offense. I love that stuff. Don't get me wrong. Whatever you want to watch in your personal life, that's fine by me. I'm not going to judge it. But like I want everyone to remain focused. sort of just keep their head in the game. Know what we need some tight screenplays here. We if we're making the opus that has SRK, Tom Cruise. Maybe we have Gerwig in there. It's some sort of love triangle, giving her like flexibility. But again, we're open. We're still workshopping our big picture that we pour more money than God and man into. But I think McKee gives us a level head.
All right. I think that's a great pick. I think he is he is a screenwriting guru, but as the one screenwriter dedicated to your studio, he's going to whip everything into that perfect fucking 3-act shape, baby.
Yeah, I was wondering when the first writer would be taken off the board and how they'd be valued. It's an interesting position here, you know. So I think McKee, like, you know, JT, you're very smart. He was not someone who was on my radar, but it's kind of like that's pretty classic, you know. How could he not consider? It appears that I'm up next with my 2 picks. We got to zoom in on Jackie. Jackie was definitely on my board. Definitely was potentially about to be my next pick. So Eddie, I think we're working with some pretty similar lists here. I think we're kind of competing for the same scraps here, which is pretty interesting to me. This is tough. But I think I will. Well, here, let me. For this pick, we'll go first. You guys have made some bold picks. I've kind of kept it vanilla, so I will. You know, you guys have inspired me to kind of pick this guy because I think he's a big asset. For the 21st pick, I will pick David Geffen. David Geffen, you know, I think he has run a film studio before or has financed a film studio. He has I think he has a net worth of $7.6 billion. He's got a lot of famous friends. He's got a big list of famous friends that he likes to call, hang out with. And I think he's someone that will be a great asset. I mean, just the money alone is going to be great. It's going to keep us afloat. You know what I mean? And he knows a lot of names. He knows Spielberg. You know what I mean? I'm not saying Spielberg's someone I'm going to draft, but maybe, you know, you could talk him into doing a movie, blackmail him possibly with information that there could be out on him. So David Geffen is my pick. And then I got back-to-back picks. I'm going to, you know, fill out my actors and directors here with this pick. I'm going to take Denzel Washington. I think Denzel is very versatile, can make a lot of different type of movies. And to be honest, I'm a little bit, my main choice is selfish. I'm a little bit over these Equalizer movies. I don't want to see Equalizer 4 and 5. You know what I mean? I want a Deja Vu 2, I guess, or something like that. So yeah, Denzel. I feel like he's just super classic, and I feel like I've strayed towards an older audience here. But I'm drafting NFL style. I could get the classic old talent now, and then all these young guns. I could get the young guys of next year, 10 years from now when I need them. So that's
I had Denzel very high on my board. I was kind of like seeing how far he would slip. You know, how late I could get him as my... I can't believe I took Shaq ahead of Denzel. JT, it is your pick.
I have to say, a lot of my picks, a lot of guys that I've been eyeing up, pretty high value in my studio, have gone uncalled so far. So I'm feeling pretty comfortable. We got some room here. This is a pick that's going to get its. Look, it's a political choice. People might burn me for that. But I think given the current global situation and the way the world is changing, really, I think that he's resourceful. I'd say once this whole Russia business gets settled down, I think he's going to be a real asset. I'm calling Vladimir Zelensky onto the board because he's a comedian. You know this before he started running this Ukraine country deal.
I did not know that. Wow.
He was their Jon Stewart, and I think that like cultural cachet around him already pretty popular with liberals. Or like people are ready. Like what? Like and again, you get a hero on the roster. I mean, I know already signed Clint, but like it's in that vein. It's just like I mean, obviously Clint is off the table for me, but maybe we get like Big Jim Cameron. Working. So I'm sure there's a part there for Wu Jing as well to tell the definitive story of the Ukraine-Russia war. I just think I think that could be not only a lucrative picture, but a very meaningful one as well. Set the record straight.
Wow,
that's a smart pick because it's a big idea in itself. It's kind of like. We're going to, like, by almost drafting Zelensky is almost like buying the rights to the Ukraine-Russia epic that will come out of it. Someone's going to make it. You know what I mean? That's a movie that's going to exist regardless. So why not Crazy White Boy Studios? I think Zelensky was a very intelligent pick. But I have to ask, where does he hit? Is he an actor, flex? Where is he in your roster?
I'm saying actor. Okay. I think, like...
Oh, he's an actor, all right. As Jean-Luc Godard said.
True, yeah. That's so we got a little natural beef going on here. Maybe your studio versus my studio, JT.
It's all love. Between us, it's whatever.
That is the
artists...
worst fucking pick of the draft. Zelensky, get the fuck out of here. Oh wait, what happened to the draft? Where'd it go? What the fuck?
If this goes up to a vote, JT's winning because it's the most entertaining choice. So I think he might have drafted. I mean, let's finish the draft. We can analyze after.
All right, I am taking Judy Garland with my next pick, and I'm not going to abuse her like the other studios did. She's going to have a beautiful, long career, and we're going to be best friends, and she's never going to touch a drug in her life, except maybe weed. That would be cool. Judy Garland smoked weed.
Judy Garland stoner movie.
Judy Garland stoner movie where she's like, really hamming it up, doing the hand motions when she's singing, like that kind of thing. Like that would, and her, stoner roommate played by Shaq is like, what are you doing, man? Like, hey Judy, are you gonna pass that? So that would be a fun movie. Okay, so Judy Garland, that was my 8th pick. So starting the ninth round of the draft here, I am gonna go with, you know what? I feel so bad that it took me this long, and much like and I'm not going to take him, but I wish I would take Lou Reed here, but like Lou Reed said on his album The Blue Mask, I love women. So I am going to go with Katharine Hepburn as my next pick. I'm just going classic stardom because what's funny is I was thinking about going Kate Blanchett, and then I was like, remember that movie where Kate Blanchett does that awful Hepburn imitation? I should just take Hepburn, right? And I love Kate Blanchett too. Tar is like on my draft board. I might pick Tar herself, honestly. I'm thinking about it. It's because like then I need a conductor for my orchestra, But yeah, that is my pick. Now it is up to JT.
Okay. The two big things that I need to settle here towards the tail end of the draft are music and cinematography. And I have folks in mind for both of them, but we're going to settle the issue of music first. And again, like, I don't know, music, not really my thing. I'm more of a movies guy. Like, we're going for what's popular here. We're like what people like, and I don't know, folks in the office. Like we're in our offices in Burbank, and we're like looking out, like we're looking in some sort of mystical direction where I can see the long line at the Hollywood Bowl, and people are lining up for Taylor Swift. So we're drafting Taylor Swift.
Wow.
As
I don't know if people know this, but she's kind of on like a historic run right now. I don't know if people know this, but she's kind of like unbelievable right now.
Yeah, I mean, regardless what you think of the music, how many tickets she's selling, you have to respect that. You really do.
I mean, that's art right there.
And also, I mean, given there's some auteurs brave enough to cast her in an acting role as well.
What's JT's...
I'm not sure.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, yeah. No, you go.
I was saying, what's JT's roster looking like right now? Because
JT's roster right now, because we are doing the visual feed where you could see it, but for listeners who are not up to date right now, and we'll do a run through maybe at the end of next round, but overall, JT right now is working with James Cameron, Mr. Beast, Tom Cruise, Shah Rukh Khan, Greta Gerwig, Wu Jing, Robert McKee, Zelensky, and Taylor Swift.
I was more
I think
asking,
Zelensky and Taylor Swift would be 1-2 in almost any draft in America right now, Frank.
I just want to make sure he's fitting the roster requirements. He has to, that
JT, let's you got 4 directors in there. I don't know. We're
Cameron.
We're gonna have to make it work.
Gerwig, Wu Jing is actor director.
Okay. He's one of your directors. Okay, and then we got picks. We still got more picks. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. As I said, the 9th round. So you're gonna have 3 more picks, JT. Malcolm, for your 9th and 10th picks, what do you got?
Well, I think it's time to take some music off the board. You guys got some pretty powerhouse, Morricone, Swift. Kind of, when I think about music, I think about those people. But I think this one, I think he's also, up there, and I think he might even be I might even get more points for this because he's kind of like the originator. I'm taking Johann Sebastian Bach for my 27th.
Ooh, that's money.
God damn!
Isn't that...
And I was gonna fuck around and take Tar. That you just shit all over me. God damn, son. That's insane.
That's a hot pick.
I can't believe he's slipped to 27.
It is. This
9th round for Bach.
I think this pick really illuminates, what you could do with the studio, and kind of like, the creativity it takes to be a great studio head. You want to play it safe, but you also have to, think outside of some boxes that people, might not necessarily think outside of. So
absolutely,
I got Bach, and then, me. I like the hybrids. I like these hybrid guys. I love these guys that could do 2 jobs, maybe 3. I don't know. And so for my writer, I will be taking a beloved figure. He'll be running the social media for the studio as well. Paul Schrader. Gotta take Paul Schrader. Because,
hell yeah.
Love it.
He's just a very versatile guy. I think he could bring a lot to the company.
No, I mean, that's great. You can have him write scripts as well, and him running the socials is going to be great. Him running the socials like the on-set reports from a Godard movie. Come on, that's as good as it gets.
Yeah, I think it'll be a lot of fun.
JT, for your 10th pick, who are you going with?
We're clipping out another director here. Again, I think it's... You get the Barbenheimer combo. We're throwing Chris Nolan up there. Again, money, numbers. It's people love it. What can I say? I'm at the will of the people. I just do what the numbers tell me, where they tell me to go. That's where we go.
I love it. Christopher Nolan and Taylor Swift. I mean, you can't get much more fucking normie than that. You're gonna put some butts in seats right there. So we have come very far, but we are getting toward the end here. These are going to be the last 3 rounds of the draft. I'm looking at my positional requirements. I think I'm good to go and get some real flex squad shit right here. Because I'm going to save my cinematographer for last, because I think that's like the least valuable position right now. Because there's so many great ones, and we're only taking 3 in the draft. So I am going to go with... this is a very, very, very hard decision. But you know what? I have to do it. I'm going to have a second composer, and his name is Donald Fagen. He was from a band called Steely Dan. in his solo record, The Nightfly. I think you see enough of the poetry, the sardonic, ironic, sarcastic poetry and storytelling and character-based kind of things where if I want to write a musical, like Morricone's not going to write a musical necessarily. He could write a score for like one of my screenwriters to write a musical, but if I want to make a musical, I want Donald Fagen making the music for my musical. I think The Nightfly is like the aesthetic that like a third of my studio should have. My next pick, I'm gonna go with. You know what? I am gonna get my cinematographer here. I'm gonna get the fucking king, man. I am going to get Greg Toland. I don't think it can get much better than that. The man
That's
who
nice.
birthed Deep Focus, the man who shot, some of Orson Welles and John Ford's greatest pictures, the man who shot just some of the greatest looking films in classic Hollywood history. Imagine him, like what he's going to do with the new technology now. The dude is just going to fucking go crazy.
It was up there for me. I definitely was considering taking Toland, so good work.
Now it is to JT again for your second to last pick, I believe. Yeah, for the 32nd pick in the draft.
I think I'm going to decide my cinematographer now. Again, there are a lot of great names to pull from, a lot of just folks that we haven't considered, just like and again, I understand why it's a low value position here. A lot of like we're getting a lot of big directing names, and again, not to undermine the value of the cinematographer, but I don't know. It can be more of a journeyman role, and I feel like my pick for cinematographer is someone who is like, even though studio, we don't really have art house values. We have someone who can do a little bit of it all. One of my favorites, he's done the Austin Powers movies. We're going David Lynch work. We're going Peter Deming.
Oh yeah, he was on my list for sure. That dude has a broad palette. He can do anything.
Exactly. If we only have one cinematographer here at this studio at the moment, I think Deming is pretty safe, sturdy hands.
Yeah, absolutely. Malcolm, your final two picks of the draft.
Oh, it's hard. It comes down to three people I want to take here. I really wish I had another roster spot. The guy I want, you guys won't take, so I'll mention him afterwards and sound smart. But I'll keep it basic with the first pick. Got to get the cinematographer pick. Who better than Vilmos Zsigmond? I mean, very classic guy, and I think like JT's pick, very versatile. He's worked with some of the best directors ever. He's made mainstream movies. He's made more artistically inclined movies. He shot some of my favorite movies, and he's a guy that's going to intimidate some of these directors. I'm not going to lie. He's going to be on set, and these directors are going to be looking to him a little bit. So Vilmos, I was worried that you were going to take him, Eddie, actually, but Toland is another good pick. I really don't think you could go wrong with the cinematographer pick, since there's only one of them. So maybe that's why it's so low. And then, I got a lot of stars, got a lot of guys in my studio that are planets. You know what I mean? Things revolve around them. And I think I want a guy who could, and I think this guy is also a planet, and this is my flex pick. He's also a planet, but he also has proven he could play third fiddle, fourth fiddle. He could be a 10-minute cameo in a movie, and you're excited to see him. But he's also directed movies, and I don't know if he wrote those movies, but I'm sure he talked to the screenwriter about it. If he didn't, I'm taking Dennis Hopper.
Nice.
Love
Excellent.
that pick.
I think there was another guy that I think had a similar quality to him, but I just think Hopper is just a little bit more classic.
Was it going to be Gallo?
I'll say it after the draft is done because I don't want you guys to. You guys won't pick it even if I say it, but I just
You don't want us to have it so that you can get it on the next round of the expansion when we do it.
Yeah, I mean, after I say it, you guys might take it in the next.
Yeah,
draft,
no,
so.
totally. And there's only 2 spots left in the draft. I'm thinking about my last spot right now, but JT, your last spot on your studio roster, who's it going to be?
Filling out another flex position is what we have here. I have the actors, I have the directors, cinematographer, composer, and I mean, there are just like so many people that I want are still available, and it's just like, but they're taking up roles. Like it's like I'll read you some names that, in consideration, unfortunately don't make the cut this time around. Air Bud, Riley Reid, Blake Snyder.
I actually don't know who that was, so it's not even
yeah, no, there are a lot of big names. Sam Jackson, there are a lot of money making popular guys here, but I don't know. A lot of my talk here is about conventional blockbuster, big budget filmmaking. We're kind of, my studio is looking to sort of vertically integrate. We're looking to own some theaters, and I'm really interested, and I know a lot of the guys on my team are interested in new tech, and we're trying to do some 4DX crazy shit, like the seats tingle your ass, when whatever, I don't know, you hear the sounds, you shake a little bit, and who better to handle these sort of big tech issues than Steve Jobs. We have Steve Jobs coming on board here as my tech specialist. I really think, and again, it's we're classic movie people. We want a classic popcorn flick here at Crazy White Boy. But we also want to take it to the next step, give you an experience that you can't really get at with any other studio or in any other theater. The Crazy White Boy theater chain to develop, of course, but we just have our eyes to the future.
That's beautiful. One time Steve Jobs asked his daughter what it would be like if she could fit 1,000 songs in her pocket, and I think that was the end of the movie. I don't think anything happens after that in his life. He definitely doesn't refuse cancer treatment because he thinks protein shakes are better for you or whatever.
He's a stubborn guy, yes, but he's gonna take us there.
Know some good juice recipe too for on set. Some good juices. Know some elite juice.
Some elite juice, yeah. So my final pick, I realize I don't have a dedicated writer. I have some directors who wrote their pictures. I have some people who may have a screenplay credit somewhere. I have a great writer in Donald Fagen, but I'm not going to let him write all of my movies. So I'm taking an unconventional pick. I almost took, and it's the last pick of the draft, so I can say it. I almost took Charlie Kaufman here. He's my favorite, just screenwriter. That's it, But I'm not doing it. I'm going with someone who's going to shape all of the stories. I'm going to go with just one of the greatest writers, period, of the last 100 years. I'm going to go with Mr. Don DeLillo.
Very nice.
And he is going to shape all of these stories. He's such a movie head, obviously, through his novels, that I feel like much like in the 30s and 40s when classic Hollywood studios would have the great novelists of the day come do screenplay credit stuff, and they would just get drunk in their trailer and fuck around, like Faulkner would be doing that stuff. And, Chandler was so famous for writing those noir novels, and that it's well, we're going to make them all into movies. You want to just write for the studio? So I think DeLillo being just the writer of my studio would be fucking sick, because you look at all my directors, they're all guys who can at least do their own story treatments, and DeLillo is just gonna shape it thematically and just really hone in on the greatness there. And also I think Don DeLillo, Donald Fagen together, if they just cook up an album together, it would be the greatest thing of all time. like a literary sophistopop record that's like 8 hours long.
You mentioning Fagan screenwriting, that's a hilarious concept. Like, what if Donald Fagan was a screenwriter? I feel like, to be honest, I feel like the movie, there would be like some good ones, but I feel like there'd just be some that are just like, I don't know. I feel
it
like
would be a lot of unlikable characters. Like, imagine like Babylon Sisters as a movie. That's literally just like a softcore porn if you try to adapt that, and it's like it's a weird one too, you know.
Yeah.
I guess that's a Jess Franco movie. Maybe Donald Fagan writes Jess Franco movies, and that would be pretty cool.
Let me tell you this guy I was going to take. It was Rainer Werner Fassbinder. And
course.
You know why? That man's a one-man film studio.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That guy made, what is it, like, he made like 4 films a year plus for like 10 years straight. You know what I mean? That's like a good value pick. That's a guy who could pump out movie after movie. So Fassbinder, if we do this again, Fassbinder will be, I have my eyes out for him.
We are going to read out these teams and then take a quick break. For the Double E Foundation, Malcolm's team, we have Orson Welles, Clint Eastwood, Alfred Hitchcock, Alfred Pacino, Lauren Bacall, Jean-Luc Godard, David Geffen, for Epstein reasons apparently, Denzel Washington, Johann Sebastian Bach, the composer, not the hair metal singer, Paul Schrader, Vilmos Zsigmond, and Dennis Hopper. That is a bad boy studio right there. That is a studio with some fucking attitude. Crazy White Boy Films. We got James Cameron. We got Mr. Beast. We got Tom Cruise. We got Shah Rukh Khan. We got Greta Gerwig. We got Wu Jing. Robert McKee just whipping those stories into shape. Zelensky just getting all the liberals. Taylor Swift getting even more liberals. Christopher Nolan. Peter Deming. Steve Jobs getting even more liberals. I think JT is just like the best equipped for the... what's it called? The neoliberal globalist future. That is a studio that's ready for. And my studio is ready for war. It's not ready for the neoliberal future. We got Picasso Pictures with Charles Chaplin, John Ford, Shaquille O'Neal, Lucio Fulci, Ennio Morricone, Jia Zhangke, Jackie Chan, Judy Garland, Katharine Hepburn, Donald Fagen, Greg Toland, and Don DeLillo. These movies, I'm tightening the belt. They're all going to be cheap. They're not going to make a lot of money, but I am going to be known as the god of cinema. Wow. We'll be right back on Extended Clip.
With the first pick in the 2016 NBA Draft, the Philadelphia 76ers select Ben Simmons from Melbourne, Australia, and Louisiana State University.
A sizable Sixers contingent on hand to celebrate this pick. Ben Simmons from Australia. At various points in his career, he's been compared in terms of skills to a LeBron James type of players. You see Johnny Jones is coached for 1 year at LSU, and that Sixers hat now goes on to Simmons as he makes his way to greet Adam Silver.
And we're back on Extended Clip. We just had one of the great drafts, tantamount to the 2003 NBA draft, for Picasso Pictures, Crazy White Boy Films, and the Double E Foundation. How does it feel, you guys, to be in this alternate reality?
It's like Nas said, if I ruled the world, you know, it's kind of, now I rule the world. I rule the world of cinema. And it feels good to be running things. I always knew where I should be is on top. And now I'm finally there. So
I like that part of that Nas song is like, if I ruled the world, people would be allowed to smoke weed.
That's true. I agree.
Yeah.
That's why I'm such a big fan of the song. Speaks
True.
a lot of truth in it.
True. I forget that it has only been legal for white people for a long time. So, as we wrap up this fantasy draft here, I wanna do a little exercise here where each of us kind of shapes a movie, and we're not gonna go too in depth on this, but just off the dome, kind of looking at what we got here. I could see something right away. I could see Donald Fagen's The Nightfly, the musical. I think this could be a complete odyssey of just like adult contemporary sleaze. You know, it's going to be shot beautifully in not quite in tinted black and white by Greg Toland, and he's going to be flirting with Judy Garland and flirting with Katharine Hepburn. And when I say he, I do not mean Donald Fagen as the leading man. I mean Charles Chaplin as the titular Nightfly. Hello, Baton Rouge. He is spinning his records, talking to people on the radio. It's kind of like going to be like Oliver Stone's talk radio, but in an adult contemporary way. And Charles Chaplin, you know, he's talking. It's like Monsieur Verdoux era Chaplin, and he's using his voice like an instrument like that. And the music, it's all about those strange, down bad literary tales of the Nightfly, and it of course ends with him getting the goodbye look given to him by Judy Garland because she's gone off to go with Jackie Chan now. So that's my movie. It's called The Nightfly.
That's a bold decision to go Fagin, very Fagin centric.
Yeah, Fagin forward is interesting.
Probably the least profitable guy on your roster.
I was gonna say, dude, Steely Dan is huge now. Steely Dan, like every millennial and Zoomer loves Steely Dan now all of a sudden. So I think that's huge. You know what? And I'm gonna relay a story that Malcolm Gladwell relayed from David Geffen. David Geffen said if he started a new studio, he wouldn't even take on new talent, just all catalog. And Steely Dan, that's a catalog that's getting more and more popular every day.
Yeah, Geffen, we've been talking about that, me and Geffen, buying all the rights to the old movies, so I think we might do that.
It's a good idea.
I've got a movie in my head, Marriage Story, tantamount hit. People couldn't stop talking about it, and they started thinking about their own marriages and how secure they were. And then little do I know, I see a clip going viral in the Red Pill Maniverse from The Breakup, Vince Vaughn, Jennifer Aniston. And so it seems like people really like these couple movies, but I kind of want to, what's in these days? People like couples, but nowadays people are talking about thruples, you know what I mean? A little polyamory. And I kind of want to take the old guard, the old classic guys, and put them in a modern situation. And my movie is called Love is War. And it's about a polyamorous relationship between a very fat Orson Welles, as fat as you've ever seen him, Lauren Bacall, and very 90s Al Pacino. And at first it's, it's hedonist paradise. It's nonstop sweaty, scenes of Orson Welles and Pacino and Bacall throwing down in the bedroom with Vilmos Zsigmond. He's smearing a little bit of Vaseline on the lens, and he's ducking in to get certain angles, and we get a good shot of Welles just fucking the shit out of whoever it might be on the bed. And then, Welles...
Carlos Regatta style fat guy fucking cinema.
But it's like, it's not quite Regatta style, like it's eroticized. It's desired. You know what I mean?
Oh, you don't get off watching those Regattas movies.
and it's at first they all get along, but they kind of realize, both the boys, Welles and Pacino, they want the girl to themselves. They don't want to do this polyamorous nonsense. They want real love. And they're talking to their friends. Welles is friends with Denzel. He's talking to Denzel. And, Pacino, he's talking to Godard, the smart guy at work or whatever. He's talking about his problems. And then the twist at the end of the movie is that Bacall leaves with a sexual maniac, Dennis Hopper, who just knows all the sadistic and kind of blue velvet sex style that she truly desires. It's kind of a twist. You kind of think, You know, how could she not? She has to pick the whole thing. It's like she has to pick. It's Jules and Jim. It's this, and then there was a third guy the whole time. It was old Dennis Hopper, and then we got the box soundtrack. Budget is like $500 million thanks to David Geffen, and Clint could do some original songs on the soundtrack, and we got
Oh yeah, I really forgot
Clint
about
role.
Clint. Yeah,
Interesting Clint role.
see, I didn't shoehorn in my guys like that, but I kind of want Jackie Chan to sing a song in mine now. If we could get Jackie Chan and Ja Junka singing a song together. Anyway, JT, what kind of movie are you pitching?
I think we teased it out a little bit earlier, but I think you know where we're going. I am going, like, like a classic, like an old big Hollywood epic, sometimes like How the West Was Won would have like 3 different directors. We're telling the story of Ukraine, the Ukrainian Russian war. The film is just titled Ukraine. Or wait, what was the territory that initially started over? That might be a punchier title.
Okay.
The Crimean Peninsula? I feel like Ukraine is cleaner. And so we got Chris Nolan, I would say, is helming the vast the vast majority of it. McKee is going to give him a script that kind of, I don't know. I like Nolan a lot, but it's going to be a little bit more conventional, like a little bit less expository. We're giving him something that is truly tightly structured. Of course, it stars Shah Rukh Khan and Tom Cruise. They're on opposing sides. Cruise is the face of Putin's Russia. Shah Rukh Khan is fighting on the side of the Ukrainians. Gerwig is going to handle directing the musical numbers. Then Cameron is going to be involved in just like Cameron and Jobs are going to work in concert for doing very effects heavy. This is gonna be Mr. Beast in all of his wonderful philanthropy. He is going to be putting a vast sum of his personal wealth into this picture because it's going to be insanely expensive. We get the Zelensky cameo where he's playing himself, delivering these beautifully written McKee speeches that will tug at your heartstrings. It is going to be insane. I think Swift, there's going to probably be a Ukraine title track, potentially something Viva la Ukraine, that like is going to play. It's all grace notes, play over the credits. But I think we're going to take her like kind of folkier roots to just give like a nice sort of, I don't want to say muted score, but I think we'll be able to work her sensibility in tastefully.
I think so too. I think you just crafted one of the great hits of the 21st century. I think this would genuinely be like the biggest movie of all time, probably. You got Mr. Beast, Tom Cruise, SRK, and Taylor Swift, and the word Ukraine. That's literally all you need to make $1 billion movie. I think all you need to do now is just like Ukraines with a $ sign through it.
No, that sounds like the biggest movie of all time, and I can't wait. I hope it's like half of it is in English, half of it's in Ukrainian. There might be some
kind of like past lives,
globalist technique where it's like multi-language type stuff, so you could sell it to different audiences. I mean, if you want to get in on a co-production, I think it would be a great business opportunity.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I totally spaced. Wu Jing will portray a role in the film, but also will be heavy hand in like martial arts, like just choreography in general here.
Sorry, there's this picture of Donald Fagen. He looks so fucked up. All right, sorry.
No, that's great. I love the arm position holding that Coke.
Oh, we've truly created some great art today, haven't we?
Yeah, no,
This is the future of the podcast and the future of the alternate reality cinema. Don't worry if you really hated this. This is not the entire future of the podcast, but I had too much fun to not ever go back to this. So we're definitely going to go back to this at some point.
Yeah, and this could be. Imagine if this was real; it'd be pretty cool.
It would be pretty cool. I mean, that's really all those people that play role-playing games can say is like, imagine if this was real. It would be really cool. And I always thought they were fucking losers, but now I get it. Because it's like elves and magistrates and all that fucking stupid shit. Like, nobody cares, but movies are sick, sports are sick. So it's like, yeah, totally. I get it. So that's going to do it for Extended Clip this week, I think. Yeah, we've gone way long enough. Extendedclippodcast@gmail.com is where you can reach us with emails. You send it, we read it. We will be back on the Patreon next week, or in a few days, I guess. All I can say is, if you liked this, and even if you didn't, sign up for the Patreon so we can continue doing bullshit like this, because it's a lot of fun for some of us, you know? Next episode will be Some Came Running by Vincent Minnelli on the next Patreon episode.
Are we doing audience voting on the drafts, or is that?
Yeah, let's. We're gonna figure something out on Twitter too. If you're listening to this, I think we'll probably already have figured something out online for some sort of voting system for whose movie was the best, movie/studio. And yeah, so we'll see you next time. That was a lot of fun, and goodbye, everybody.